Alright, Steve, so I'm just going to give you just a quick rundown of pretty much the stuff that you'll need to know to edit the posted pages on WordPress. So once you log in, you should see in the email, obviously the same one that has this YouTube link that will have your login information. Once you log in, you should see a screen like this. Um, the majority of what you're going to be doing is actually right here on the left side. It says posts, media, and pages. Um, I mean, obviously there's a lot of other things over here, which you can dig into if you want to. Some stuff you really may never need to touch. A couple things, like you may want to change the gallery later on, something like that, and then we can cover that, pretty much whenever the time arises. Um, but everything in WordPress is really pretty straightforward. So for the most part, you'll be making pages. So if you hover over pages, right off the bat, you can go to add new or just open up every single page. Up at the top too, there's this plus symbol that says new, and if you hover over it, it's a quick way to open up like a new page or a new post. But we'll just go with this. So you can go to all pages, and then here's a list of all the pages on the site. Um, and then anytime that you want to like just go to the front end of the site to see your changes or anything, you can just hover over JLDoor service up here on the top and click on visit site, and then it will actually bring up the home page. You can do that on every single page. This link is, whenever you're viewing the front end, you can use this link again to go back to the back end. Um, but as you're viewing the site, as long as you're logged in, you'll see all these options up at the top. So if you're actually looking at the front page, and you want to change, any specific page, so fire doors, for example, if you click on edit page right here up at the top, you can just jump to editing that page. The other option again is going to pages, all pages, and then picking it out from the list. So the most robust page is actually the home page. So I'm going to show you um, a little bit of editing with that, so we can cover a little bit more ground. Okay, so almost everything that you're going to do, um, everything that you should be doing anyways, will be in this Fusion Builder, is what it's called. So you actually do all the building in the back end. Um, so traditionally, there's column options, which kind of, this is just specific. So you want to start with a full width container always, and then if you want to have 4 elements, you would just add 4 1/4 um, to fill up that container. From there, if you click on Builder Elements up at the top, it will bring in all of the actual elements itself. So, you can see here's a pricing table, section separators, a text block, the title, toggles, things of that nature. Um, Pretty much everything that you're going to want to do is actually going to be in this builder element. There's a couple things that you'll have to step outside of it to do, like edit the gallery. Again, that's this stuff over here. Um, to edit the slider, that is revolution slider, so that would be over here. But if you see right here, it's just a short code. So I'll go ahead and get rid of what I just added in. Um, so you can see, like, under our services on the home page, all that I did is I added a quarter column, and then I added an image frame, and then a 3/4 column and a text block. So again, you don't have to divide up the columns the way that I did it. You can divide it up any way you want. Um, but the biggest thing that you're really going to be using is a text block. And I'm just also, to add anything to it, um, you just drag and drop, but you wait until you see like a blue area, and then it will actually add it to that area. So I just added a text area there. On every single element, you can alter the options on any element that's already in here. So all that you want to do is click on Edit Element. It looks like a little pencil right here. Um, there's also Clone Element. So if you make a button and you want 5 of the same button for whatever reason, you can just click Clone Element, and it will just continue cloning whatever's there. And then right here is a little trash can. It's kind of hard to see, but if you just want to remove the element. Um, Yeah, you'll never really have to mess with the full width containers. You can if you want to add, custom CSS rules or to hide on mobile. Um, if you want to easily change just the background color of just that one element, or add a border to it, stuff like that. But I'm gonna stick to pretty just simple stuff for now. Um, I mean, again, if you need any help with anything in the future, you can always just ask. So we're just gonna edit a text block. So it works pretty much exactly like Word. It's a bit more simple. Um, there is plugins to make this even more robust. If you don't see all the options available, whenever you're logged in, so this is the standard editor. So you just get things like bold, italics, strike through, block, and then indents, which way to align it. You can click on this right here, which is called toolbar toggle, and that will actually bring up all the other stuff. So if you want to make something that has a heading H1, H2, H3, stuff like that, underline, justify, text color, um, paste as plain text, and things of that nature. Also, again, if you want a bigger area, this has, you'll have to do this every time that you edit it, but this has a little like drag corner, so you can, just so you can see even more on your screen at once. If you don't drag it down, then obviously, it will just have a scroll bar. Um, Besides that, that's, it's pretty simple. So I'll just add some text here. If you want to add media to it, you would just like Word. Um, you just place your cursor wherever you want it, click on add media up at the top, and then you can drag and drop files into here and it will upload to the server. Once it's done uploading, you just click on it. You can change the title, caption, alt text, description, which way it aligns in the box, and so on and so forth. So I'm just going to use one that I already know is a kind of a decent size. So in WordPress, if you have it align left or align right, it will actually wrap the text around it according. So I had the picture align left, so as you write the text, it will automatically wrap around until the image is gone. If you do ever need to insert some simple HTML code, up here at the top right of these text editors, there's text and visual. So the visual editor is where you're going to be spending most of your time. Like I said, if you do need to insert any type of code or any HTML or anything of that nature, that's all in the actual text editor itself. So you can see, then you start coming into tags and some simpler code. Anything that you do in the text also copies over to visual, so I just deleted everything, all of the code in that, so again, that deleted all that. And whenever you're done with whatever you're editing, you just push save down here, and then it will save it in that container. But to actually make changes to the page itself, you need to click update. So that's what this column is over here. And once you click update, the little wheel will spin to make connection with the database. Whenever it's finished, it will just reload the page and have saved the changes that you've made. That's really about as simple as it gets. So for all the page content, this they're all going to look about the same. It's as you play with it more, you'll kind of see how I built out each specific page. But in terms of actually editing the content, you're going to find that they're very similar to this. Each element kind of works a little bit different. So like on a checklist, you can see you can select which global icon you want for it, icon color, circle color, things of that nature. But what you'll actually want to do is like checklist item 1, doors never break down at a convenient time, and then that will become its own checklist item. So that is that right there. And then as you can see, I've made 4 checklists total. If you want to add another one, you just click add a new list item down at the bottom, you open it up, and then it's a text editor again. To remove any one of these, you see that there's a little remove button at the bottom of each individual checklist item. As we're not going to keep anything in 5, I'll just remove what I just added, and then we're back to 4 again. You don't, if you don't have any changes to actually save, I wouldn't push save. I would just push cancel, and it will revert anything that was done. I mean, most of the other stuff, more than likely, unless you really, really want to try to do everything yourself, probably mostly be calling on me. But I do want to show you, you guys can go to Appearance and Theme Options. And then in here, so this is a custom CSS code that I wrote to adjust everything. Um, but in here, for the most part, if you guys want to update your logo or update, which way the lines, the spacing on it, stuff like that, for example, it's all in here. Oh, this theme really tries to make things user-friendly for people who are not coders. So if you want to change, your blog layout, you want to change your blog page title, you'd go to the blog in your theme options, and then here you just change it to whatever you want. You can change the layout and all that stuff, all without having to code anything. Up at the top, you can search for options. I've actually never done this, so I'd be fairly surprised how well it works. Really didn't light anything up. Search for options doesn't seem to do a great job, which doesn't surprise me. But say that you want to change the body tags or the header tags. You could actually change the fonts, the link color, all that stuff just right here. And then, that's all under typography. And then if you want to change headers, that's all under here as well. Just make sure if you do change anything back here, you click on Save Changes. If you just completely messed up like everything in this section, you can click Reset Section, and it will only reset this subsection. Please do not click Reset All. It will reset the entire theme and everything I've adjusted in here to default. So once the site actually launches, normally I don't hand over control to customers until it is launch time. I know that there is quite a few things that need to be done ahead of time, so I'm okay with doing so. But I will run a backup of it tonight. So hopefully before you get in here, there will be a backup. So if you do mess anything up, just let me know, and I should be able to restore the website to the backup. The unfortunate thing with that is if you've done any work in between the time that I generated the backup and the time that you exploded the website, that's just for a lack of better words, all that will be lost. So the general rule of thumb with any website stuff is if you don't know what you're doing, just kind of leave it be. But there really isn't, so there's more to be scared of in terms of like appearance plugins. Really this section from here to here, depending on what you do, could actually bring down the site. So you really kind of want to be careful between appearance and settings. Pretty much everything that you'll mess with besides that really can't cause too much damage to anything. Like you might mess up how a page looks or something like that. And this theme does actually, it auto saves post revisions to certain points, most of the time which are restorable, so that's always good. So the other thing I do want to cover is the blog area, because me and you did talk about that, and having a blog set up is a really good thing. Okay, so all the blog stuff will be under the post section. All this stuff, I'm going to delete all of these posts whenever you actually have some content built out, or before launch. So let's just edit one that I copied over so you can kind of see how a blog article would go. And the reason I use posts instead of pages is because they react differently with different elements. And they also look a bit different. So as you can see, you don't use Fusion Page Builder for posts. You just write the post in the default editor, which should be selected. If it isn't, right here you can switch between Fusion Page Builder and default editor. Is this blue button under the title. You can do the same thing on pages, but on pages you want to use the Fusion Page Builder. So on posts you really just write out the content, insert a picture, and that's really about it. You select which category you want to actually attach it to, and then whatever picture that you put into the post, you also want to set as your featured image. So on the actual on the blog category list, which is this page, the actual blog page, um, the featured image is actually what people will see up here. So if you don't have a featured image set, like these ones down here, it will just look like words, um, which is fine. You know, pictures just grab people's attention better. So um, I think that pretty much covers it. Almost. So in terms of the editor up here, if you just hover your mouse over these things until you get to learn, you know, what they do, it will pull up like a little bubble and actually tell you what each one does as well. Um, but yeah, I think that's it. So if you have any other questions, just let me know. A lot of the times I'll just do like a screenshot and select the areas of where you have to go to get something simple done. If it requires a lot of explaining instead of writing a long email, I will just create another YouTube tutorial to try to speed it up, and then that way you don't have to go back and read. You can just watch it, pause it, replay it as many times as you need. Um, yeah. So have a good night, Steve.